We're speaking about sensitivities, and I'd like to share with you an incredible story about Rashi Pesach Frank, the Rav of Yerushalayim for many years, incredible posek and person. I was zochet to know his son-in-law of Kohen and his grandson Rav David Kohen was our Shatran, who Rav Shach said is the future, is the gadol for the next generation. Rav Frank once received a very, very scathing letter. It was incredibly scathing from somebody who wasn't exactly a bar hachi, wasn't exactly on the level to be writing such a letter. And if it was you or me, we would probably take the letter and throw it away, burn it, or do various other things with flush it down the toilet. But Rashi Pesach Frank didn't do that. What did he do? He took the letter, he folded it up, put it in his drawer, and every week he would take out the letter and reread it. Like some people read the Igeres Ramban every week. I know we used to live in Sanhedria on Rechov Bloy, and we were in the building with Rav Aviezer Shapira, who was the mashgiach then in Kol Torah, Shiva Katana. And him and his wife, I'd come in Motzi Shabbos, they would be sitting there saying Igeres Ramban together. So Rashi Pesach Frank made this letter into his Igeres Ramban. Every week, Motzi Shabbos or whenever it was, he would take out the letter and reread it and try to go deep inside himself and see the areas that he needed to work on. Because Rashi Pesach Frank understood that if he was being sent such a letter, it was from Min Hashamayim, and it was an ability to see his faults, even though they might have been amplified, and even though it might have been done in a disrespectful way. But Rashi Pesach Frank understood that this was an opportunity for growth and to become a much, much better person. And so much so that when this person died, who had written the letter, Rashi Pesach Frank attended his levaya and was mechabed him, was honored him at the time when Neshama was leaving the world. And this, we could see, is such a flip. It's such a totally different outlook to dealing with people who don't treat us with the kavod, with the honor that we would hope for to get from other people. And a total, as it were, flip, a total twist of perception, how to deal with these difficult and challenging situations. So therefore, we're not Rashi Pesach Frank. I certainly am not, and I'm sure most of my listeners are not like that as well, although you never know. I'm sure that there's some very great people listening to my shirim, I hope. But the point is that we can emulate him, right? We're not supposed to copy. When we hear such stories, we're not supposed to copy them, but we can certainly emulate them. And if any story is worthy of emulation, this story certainly is. Because this attribute, the attribute to see the good in a very scathing situation, and to be able to twist it and flip it, and to take the good out of what seems to be bad, this is something which is a very, very, very great, a very, very great thing. And as the Mesilas Yesharim says, Rava Toelis, it has very, very great ashlachot, it has very, very great ramifications, because we will in our lives encounter people who are not necessarily sensitive to our needs and our feelings, right? And they may say things which are scathing. And as we've said previously in the past two classes, that it's all coming from Hashem. The Vilna Gaon says in Mishlei Yud Aleph Vites, he says that when someone does something really bad to you, he says, don't make a big deal out of it, because it's coming from Hashem. It's all coming from Hashem. And our job, our challenge, is to try to understand, is to get deeper than ourselves and try to understand, where is this coming from? Right? What does Hashem want from me in this situation? How can I grow from this situation? How can I become a better person as a result of this experience? And try. It's hard. It's very, very hard not to be upset with the person who was the messenger for this comment. But that we have to understand is that we're messengers. Yeah, people like that are messengers, and although we have a rule that Megalgal and Chov al Yedei Chayev, that a negative thing comes through somebody who is not worthy of it. But in the end of the day, he's just a messenger. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu, as it were, is sending us a email, text message, voicemail, or whatever you want to call it, right, from above. It's just going through this person. This person is like the phone or like the computer or like whatever you want to call it in order for us to receive the message that is coming through here. If we view it in that perspective, we'll be so much happier and so much better. Okay, just imagine the Pesach Frank gets to Shemayim and all of the incredible changes he made in his life as a result of that letter. And imagine he hadn't done that. Imagine he'd taken the letter and been very upset and flushed it down the toilet and not done that work. Imagine the difference that would have been had he not done that, right? And it was coming. It was a letter from Hashem. It was coming from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and it was just being delivered in an unpleasant way, in a way that he would have preferred not happen. So this is something very, very powerful and very, 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 very critical. Now, I just want to make another point here. If you are in such a situation where you've been, let's say, the recipient of such a comment, and you're waiting for the person to apologize. Yeah? Wait a minute. I know this happened to me once. Somebody once treated me in a very, very disrespectful way. It was actually one of my Talmidim. And it was extremely, extremely disrespectful, according to the Gedolim that I consult with. It caused me the greatest pain and anguish. And I was waiting Erev Yom Kippur. I was sure that this person was going to apologize to me. I was going to get a request for Mechila Erev Yom Kippur. So 9 a.m., 10 a.m., 11 a.m., it's not coming. Midday, 1 o'clock. Finally, I got in touch with somebody who was close to this person. And I said, I was really hoping I would get an apology. Yeah. And so the person got in touch with him. And then I get an email, I believe it was, saying, I'm sorry you feel bad about what happened. Which again, as I quoted previously, Rabbi Dr. Aaron Tversky, how would you feel like at the other end of such brilliant consolation? Right? How would you? I'm sorry that you feel bad about what happened, which means that that I did nothing wrong, but it's all because of your weakness and your oversensitivity. Okay. So I went into Yom Kippur that year feeling really, really horrible, because of what happened. And I remember davening Ma'ariv and Shacharis and Musaf and Mincha, and it was very, very heavy on me. It was so heavy that by the time I got to Ne'ilah, I just couldn't daven. I was just so upset. And then I suddenly grabbed myself and I said, you know what? This is crazy. Ne'ilah, it's the most important tefillah of the entire year. And I'm going to let it be ruined because of the fact that somebody upset me. Anyway, so I put all my koichos, all of my strength, into that Ne'ilah tefillah. And afterwards, when they were saying Avinu Malkeinu, and it was in yeshiva, it was by the yeshiva of Heichel HaTorah where I was davening, and they said at the end of the davening, Avinu Malkeinu, and took a really long time. So, in between the Avinu Malkeinos, I made up my own Avinu Malkeinu. I asked Rav Sternbach about it later, and he was all right with it. Yeah, because they take a very long time for Avinu Malkeinu. In between the Avinu Malkeinos, I made up my own Avinu Malkeinu. Avinu Malkeinu, Machal Mochok Sinas Chinam Libenu. Erase baseless hatred from my heart. And erase baseless hatred from my heart. And I said it about 300 times. And you know what? When I finished saying this, it was gone. There was no more bad feelings. And at that moment, I recognized something very important. Sinas Chinam, it's called Chinam because it doesn't really exist. As my good friend Reb Zeli Pliskin once said, he said, if you can't put into wheelbarrow, it doesn't exist. Right? Can't put into wheelbarrow, it doesn't exist. Sinas Chinam doesn't exist. It's just the long arm of the Sad, of the Yetzer Hara, to disturb us from serving the Borei Olam properly. And therefore, the more we can recognize this, and the more we can come to the accurate and true understanding that if we get hurt, if we're in pain, If we feel bad towards somebody, it doesn't really exist. It's sinas chinam. The Svarim say that any chinam, which is not because a person is a rasha, yeah, is chinam. The only person you're allowed to hate is rasha. There's a mitzvah they rishoyim, but says the Chazon Ish based on the writings of Rav Yonas and Moliner, he says that everybody today is before reproof. No one is capable of giving reproof today. Everyone's before reproof, and therefore you're not allowed to hate anybody. There's basically no rishoyim today, and it's certainly if we're upset with somebody because they they were insensitive to us or hurt our feelings, they're probably not rishoyim. They're probably just not highly emotionally intelligent like most of us. Each one in their own level. So therefore, I leave you with that note that if somebody really, really hurts you, try to think through it, try to work through it, try to grow from it, try to rise above it, try to use it to change yourself, and try to be mochik, erase the sinas came from your heart, amen, came to it.